Hello, this is Mr. Cox with another Where Sci-Fi Meets Science video. Continuing the subject of, is it possible for alien life, or we should say sentient, or some people like to say sentient, self-aware life. In this case, it would be, speaking about highly intelligent life, it would have to be much more intelligent than we are. Could they reach could they reach Earth from another star system? As I said in video 1, the extreme or vast distances make it seem highly improbable. However, there are many talking about things such as was developed, this whole thought system from Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. There's the general theory of relativity and the theory of special relativity. And from that, a whole lot of science writers like Gene Roddenberry with Star Trek and many, many since that have talked about the possibility of a hyperdrive and folding space-time. What this would mean simply is if you have to go a long distance, let's put it this way, it would actually occur over much longer distances of space instead of crossing the Earth's surface. But let's say you had to go from LA, California to New York City, New York, and it would take days to drive across there. If instead you had a hyperdrive, and instead of going the straightest way you could go there on highways, if you activated your hyperdrive, and just like if you took the map as a surface of the Earth, or the surface of the Earth like a map, and you folded it over so that LA and New York City are right on top of each other or touching, you could be there in a moment's time. Such is the idea of hyperdrives. Instead of having to cross vast distances to get to, for say, Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our sun, which is about 4.7 light years away. I know you may find a table that says it's 4.65 or something like that. I'm just saying approximately. Instead of it taking, like right now, we can't even travel even close to the speed of light. Our speeds are more like 30 to 50,000 miles per hour with some of our better spacecraft. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second in a vacuum. There's a little difference, whether you're going through a media like glass, water, or air, or space, the vacuum of space. It'd be 186,000 miles per second. So, what if we could fold space-time? Now, in Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, we see a fourth dimension. Of course, you have length, width, height, and space, not just space and not just time, but it's called space-time. Space and time are related. I don't want to, in this video, I don't want to spend the time to develop that theory. I'm trying to keep these short. But this can actually be shown repeatedly, even with GPS and everything, be tested over and over every day and night. The space and time are related, and they're interdependent, so there is something called space-time. If you could take it in some type of hyperdimensionality, like a piece of paper, and fold it over, then maybe we could use something called a hyperdrive to cause that to happen, and we could get to Proxima Centauri instead of taking 4.7 years at the speed of light. And like I said, now we can only go 30, 50,000 miles per hour. It would take, we're talking probably 1,000 years. I'd have to go do the math again. I've done the math before. I don't recall the exact number, but much longer than a person's lifetime to get there. If instead we had some type of hyperdrive that would fold space-time, we could get there in a matter of minutes, a matter of hours, a matter of days, or if you could develop the hyperdrive to get really close in a matter of seconds. Now, of course, as far as we know, let me put it this way, modern science does not know of the existence of a real hyperdrive. There are people, of course, you get into conspiracy theorists and things like that, who believe that we have hyperdrives and we've had them since the 1950s or the 1960s and been visiting other star systems, etc. But we don't have that information. We don't have that data. We don't have those observations. We can't say that's true. The only way that would be if there's some super top secret, highly classified system being used by the government. And again, we don't have evidence of that. So let's just go with conventional science. We don't have a hyperdrive. They are working on trying to develop hyperdrives. Some people have talked about traveling through a wormhole. Yes, there are wormholes that have been seen for existence. For existence. For an example, between the Earth's polar regions and the Sun. However, these wormholes, these are like openings in space-time. It's kind of as a spiral. Occur extremely quickly. We don't know of any way to know when they're going to occur. They open quickly and close quickly, and the energy within a wormhole is so strong that it would pull apart any spacecraft and any life that we know of. And we don't know when they're going to occur. If wormholes exist, we don't know when one might open to Proxima Centauri and when to have the craft ready, and we don't know of any way to get a craft and put it in there and keep it from being destroyed by the extremely strong electromagnetic fields that would occur there. Then we would know how to stop it to keep it from slamming into Proxima Centauri or into something else, when it got there. Then we would have no reason to believe that we could ever get back, that a wormhole would ever open that we could get back in. So, in the present time, we do not have any of those technologies. Now, could extremely intelligent life from another star system have something like that? Again, we have no evidence of that that's open to the public at any rate in science or in technology, which is a related field to science. However, could it occur? I think we would be really not using our intelligence, let's put it that way, to say that we could absolutely say for certain it could not occur. We don't know that. However, from anything that we've been able to see, and in our mathematical equations, etc., a hyperdrive, in order to build something like that, it would take a star more powerful than our sun, a hyperdrive, something putting off more energy than that, or of a large, extremely powerful black hole. How could we make such a thing as little bitsy humans here on Earth? And how could a life form from another planet make something like that? Some people say, well, maybe they found a way to harness a black hole and travel with it, hooked to their starcraft. Okay, you tell me how, in the wildest imagination, any creature could harness a black hole, which pulls everything into it, basically crushes it with extremely, ridiculously strong gravitational field. It seems absurd, let's put it that way, unless there's something completely way out there that we have no idea of. So at this present time, we don't have a hyperdrive. They are working on trying to make some types of steps towards a hyperdrive type system, but nothing really big has come through with NASA or the European Space Agency or SpaceX or anybody that I'm aware of. There's people playing with it, I think that if that could occur, it's going to be way, way out in the future. But I must say this: